We now interrupt regular programming for this special presentation. Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge can be seen Friday at 2 a.m. right here on News Channel 5.
Good evening and welcome to a program designed to help you live alive and well in STL. Summer is a break from school and the routine for so many families.
But there are many reasons why this is one of the most difficult times of the year for kids. Without a stable school environment, summer can be stressful, even traumatic for our kids.
Chicken nuggets? There you go.
From a lack of food.
One little boy said, "Gosh, I'm so glad you're here, because I haven't had a meal since you were here yesterday."
To an unstable home.
Oftentimes, they've seen scary things, they've heard scary things.
Our children face challenges in the summer and may not be able to understand or verbalize what's wrong.
When children are dealing with that kind of stress over long periods of time, it affects brain development. It affects emotional development.
But there are people in our community working to save our children's futures and help them live alive and well in STL.
To give them hope, to give them confidence, to lift them up, to show them that there's another way and there's a better way and there's a safer way.
Sometimes the Scoutmaster is the only person that a youth might feel comfortable talking to.
And eventually getting them through the hurdles of making it to college.
And as a community, it's imperative upon us to ensure there are not systemic issues standing in their way.
Tonight we're focusing on toxic stress and our children. Missouri ranks 7th in the country for food insecurity. That means 1 in 5 children don't have enough to eat.
In fact, right now, there's a brand new local program getting thousands of meals to where they're needed most. As you're about to see, when the summer food program van rolls up, kids come running. It's an oasis during a hot and hungry summer.
Okay. Hand sanitizer.
Instead of making families seek out help, the summer food program brings the meals to them.
What would you like, sir?
Not just chicken nuggets, milk, and sandwiches.
Let me get your milk, okay?
We also have activity boxes with sidewalk chalk and jump ropes.
And if I don't have ranch dressing, they aren't going to eat the carrot sticks. I've learned.
This first-of-its-kind program is run by Operation Food Search.
See, look at. Get that crowd coming.
I got sandwiches. Would you like a sandwich?
Whether the van's running the North City and County route or its South City and County route, it doesn't take long for word to spread. And for a type of stress that is felt but not necessarily seen to vanish.
We get free food and then it's right after school, so we're hungry. Sometimes we don't really have a lot of money to buy stuff. And I'm happy because they're doing this for free for children.
The results are measurable.
Research has shown kids can fall back so much from when they left school to when they begin because they didn't eat all summer properly. And as the one mom said, money gets tight.
Something this mother knows only too well.
We went to Snooks and my kids, they would ask me for cereal, and that was hard for me because they was short on $2. $2 probably for others is nothing, but for me was a lot. So for me, this is a big blessing.
A blessing that began June 6th. In its first 8 days, the van served almost 2,500 meals, and they make sure to pass out more than food and drink. They bring respect and commitment.
Thank you! You're so welcome!
It is an honor for us to lend a helping hand to move the needle toward ending childhood hunger.
Breaking a cycle of stress that goes up when the temperatures rise.
They go home and they stay quiet for a while and they watch TV and not hungry. So that's wonderful.
You can help feed children this summer and all year long. Today, we're launching our Heal Summer Hunger campaign along with Operation Food Search, Snooks, the St. Louis Regional Health Commission, and Missouri Foundation for Health. Jacob
Long is at the Hampton Village Snooks to explain exactly how you can get involved.
Well, you know, hunger does not take the summer off, and participating in this new initiative is so easy to do. They even have little reminders for you to see right out here at the checkout counter. And the best part is the money we raise through this program is going to go such a long way to making sure that families and children on both sides of the river have enough food to get through these really hot summer months, a time that is the hungriest for our community. So let me explain a little bit about how this is going to work. All you have to do is go to any Schnucks in the bi-state region, and at the checkout counter, you tell the cashier that you would like to donate to heal summer hunger. Now, adding just a single dollar to your bill can help feed 3 people for one day. $5 will help feed 15 people a day, and then $10 can feed 30 people a day. This is money that can not only help knock out hunger, but also knock out the stress that hunger puts on all of these local children and families. Heal Summer Hunger runs today through July the 13th, and again, to participate, all you have to do is go to the checkout counter at any Schnucks in Missouri or Illinois. Reporting in South City, Jacob Long, News Channel 5 on your side.
Now, summer can be exciting and a little bit scary for kids heading to college for the first time, but not everyone who walks across a graduation stage in May intending to go to college makes it.
It's called Summer Melt, and there's a local resource helping to make sure kids stay on track. So what is your major?
I'm a biology pre-med major.
I want to major in business administration.
My career choice, I want to be an art therapist.
Choosing a career, picking a college, and deciding how to pay for it. It's a stressful time for prospective college students and their parents who are looking for answers.
The complexity of selecting a higher ed institution, the complexity of the application process, the complexity of ensuring you're set from a financial aid perspective.
This is definitely a place where you can come to get answers.
The High School to College Center is appropriately located in University City. The center provides community resources to make sure young adults ask the right questions about college.
When you're 17, 18, 19 and looking at all of this. So I think even in the best of circumstances, this is a stressful period.
The High School to College Center helps teens and 20-somethings faced with making some of the biggest financial decisions of their lives.
I came here looking for scholarships or interest-free loans or anything that would help me stay in school.
There are lessons to be learned at the High School to College Center. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. There will be obstacles along the way. Never give up. Go to class. After visiting the center, Ozzie Furlow is headed to Arkansas Baptist, ready to man up.
I gotta like step up to the plate now. Like it can't be no more like mom.
Just making it through high school can be a challenge. Schoolwork, peer pressure, not fitting in, relationships, there are so many things to juggle.
Throw homelessness into the mix and you'll begin to appreciate Davion Howard's journey. He just graduated last month from Maplewood Richmond Heights High School, something he once thought might not happen.
I'm very anxious to graduate though. Graduated.
For Davion Howard, a graduation practice run.
I'm going to University of Central Missouri. I'm going to major in computer software engineering.
A difficult childhood.
I lost my parents when I was very young.
Led Howard to Joe's Place, where he's lived his entire senior year.
I've never lived in a place where it was actually both parents, and it was actually, you had to sit at the dinner table at 6 o'clock and, have dinner with the whole family.
On any given day, we probably have 40 to 45 students identified as homeless in our district.
10 years ago, Maplewood Richmond Heights School District bought a house and partnered with local churches to tackle a complex problem, teen homelessness.
But what Joe's Place does a little bit differently is because it's a community and they become part of something bigger than themselves, which actually is very healing and therapeutic for these guys.
The teen residents are offered what many families take for granted: a warm place to sleep, regular meals, adult guidance from surrogate parents.
And they're able to kind of focus on their academics and have a routine that kind of allows them to be a successful student.
So they stay on you constantly, making sure you get your work done and everything. Sit, stay.
Even Olive, the Joe's Place pet, plays a role in stress reduction.
Like little things, like having a dog can help make you come home and smile and feel better. For me, living here, I found out that having a good family environment is what makes kids prosper.
Well, Davion says he wants to start his own computer software company someday. Joe's Place has been nationally recognized for its work to help homeless teenage boys in Maplewood, Richmond Heights.
A hospital can be a stressful place for kids and adults. St. Louis Children's Hospital recently worked with Nestle Purina to create the Purina Family Pet Center. It's a place where pets can visit young patients who may be recovering from traumatic experiences like injuries and illness.
And when you think of the role that pets play in family environments, and you think that children here, they're separated from their house, their home, their family, and their friends, what a better way to bring a little bit of brightness and sunshine and even normalcy into a hospital stay.
Families can book the special room located on the hospital's second floor and bring in their pet for a visit. While the goal is to reduce anxiety, health experts say having pets around can help children with pain management, improve the recovery and well-being of patients, and reduce the amount of medication they need.
Coming up, breaking down walls.
When they came to our school and was talking to us, it kind of changed how I think about police officers.
The program building trust and helping keep kids out of trouble. Plus, the place helping families who have nowhere else to go.
There are resources to help you deal with toxic stress and trauma. Go to aliveandwellstl.com, click on the Get Well words, and then find a mental health professional. There you'll find a full list of resources. When it comes to school, many children in our area are forced to deal with so much more than just reading, writing, and arithmetic.
News Channel 5's Nicole Berlie recently spoke with a staff at North St. Louis Elementary School who are working to keep children alive and well when they're at school and home.
About 200 students fill the hallways and classrooms of Farragut Elementary, which sits just a few blocks away from Fairground Park in North St. Louis. It's an area that often makes news, many times for reasons that are not positive, like violence and poverty. As a result, Principal Patricia Cox says many of her students suffer from traumatic stress.
Each day that they walk through the door, we have to decide that we're going to build a relationship with these children.
One way they do that through what they call a student intervention team.
The nurse, the social worker, our parent community specialist, and our counselor.
All specially trained to help children who may have trouble understanding or verbalizing exactly what's wrong.
Training is so important because it's a controlled environment in the classroom. But once those kids leave the building and step outside, they're exposed to the realities of life in the city and all that brings.
It's the effects of poverty. So it's food insecurity, it's homelessness, it's living in violent communities, it can be unstable home lives.
It can limit students' ability to learn.
When children are dealing with that kind of stress over long periods of time, it affects brain development, it affects emotional development.
But by making more school staff trauma-informed, the goal is to ensure all district students are safe, happy, and learning.
And we want them to do something wonderful and make wonderful choices.
Nicole Berlie, News Channel 5, on your side.
Now, in our region, we know that gangs are an ongoing problem, and we know the relationship between police and the public can be uneasy and strained.
A St. Louis police lieutenant is leading a program that's trying to repair that relationship and helping children avoid violence.
He drew this picture of me, and I'm like, wow. You know, down to my badge, my radio, everything that's on my uniform. For him to do that told me that I got through to him.
Getting through to children is Perry Johnson's passion. In his office at police headquarters, photos of the Little League footballers he's coached over the years. A statue of a police officer talking to a child.
To give them hope, to give them confidence, to lift them up, to show them that there's another way and there's a better way and there's a safer way.
Can you tell them what you learned? I know you can. You're good like that.
Lieutenant Johnson is determined to be a great role model. GREAT stands for Gang Resistance Education and Training. The school-based law enforcement program Johnson supervises empowers students like 11-year-old DAVION KIBBLE to avoid gangs and manage emotions.
How to control your anger, like when you're angry, what to do, like walk away.
Right now, we're at the corner of Virginia and Merrimack.
As Lieutenant Johnson drives some of St. Louis's most violent neighborhoods, he says convincing youngsters to avoid the lure of gang life should be a priority for the region.
It has to be a collective approach from the community, from the police, and from everybody involved, so that we can try to reach them. We can try to break the cycle. We can break the school to prison pipeline. We can break the cycle of trauma that a lot of young people are experiencing.
Johnson and other officers visit city schools to talk, teach, and change the image of law enforcement.
The best thing was the police officers took the time off their work to come and help us and teach us about the world. When they came to our school and was talking to us, it kind of changed how I think about police officers.
When I have an officer that can walk into a school and kids run up and hug him and they say hi, and they don't back away, they don't shy away, it's high five and hey, and what's going on and how you doing, then that's success.
Kids of all walks of life deal with trauma and toxic stress.
Dr. Ken Haller with Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital and the president of the Missouri chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics is here now to help parents help their children. Dr. Haller, thank you so much for coming down.
My pleasure.
We've been talking about some of the things that cause childhood trauma, like poverty and violence. What are some of the other causes that we might not think about?
Well, you know, when kids are born, it's sort of expected as human organisms that we're going to have people to take care of us, people who are going to give us love, give us nurturing, all these things. That's what genetically we're set up for. If that doesn't happen, if parents are so stressed by their environment, by the possibility of losing a job, of not having housing, of food insecurity, that they're not emotionally available for their kids, as well as not being able to provide a healthy physical environment, then the child's system reacts. Actually, it can cause what are called epigenetic changes, and certain stress genes get turned on. And this can lead to lifelong health problems, both physically and in terms of emotional health.
So how should parents talk to their kids about what's going on in their families' lives?
One of the most important things is for parents to really just be open to whatever's going on with their kids. If you see something happening with your kids that you know, they're acting different, just say, hey, what's going on with you? You know, I'm noticing this. I'm concerned about it. Let them know that you're there for them. It's even important, you know, parents like to feel like they need to be strong all the time, and certainly they do need to let their kids know they're going to be safe, but they also need to say, sometimes I feel sad, sometimes I get upset, and here's what I do. Let's talk about what you could do when you feel these things.
There's something called sick care versus well care. What is that?
Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics is a big proponent of well care. You know, over the course of our 90-year history, we've gone from taking care of kids who were sick with strep throats and things like that, to really looking at making sure the kids just stay well. In fact, looking at the social determinants of health, all those things that can cause kids to become unhealthy because of their environment. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that kids stay well, that they have environments that are nurturing, and that they get everything they need to become full, you know, healthy, happy adults.
And how does the medical community factor into what you just said?
Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics, as I mentioned before, is an organization of 65,000 physicians around the country, and one of our major initiatives right now is on child poverty. This is one of the things that as you've been talking about all night and through this whole program, is one of the things that severely can affect a child's health in a bad way. Making sure they get proper nutrition, making sure they get exercise, making sure they're in a place where they are loved and they know that they are loved. These are the sorts of things where when these things don't happen, this can lead to lifelong health problems.
Dr. Haller, thank you for joining us tonight.
My pleasure as always.
Right, when families are struggling financially, it can lead to dangerous situations for parents and their children.
The St. Louis Crisis Nursery is working to protect children and help families who've reached the breaking point.
It's beyond anything that probably you or I could imagine, the level of stress that our families are going through.
At the Crisis Nursery, children's drawings tell a tearful story. If a child's heart could talk, on their worst day ever, it might sound something like this.
Oftentimes, they've seen scary things, they've heard scary things, their parents have been involved in a domestic violence situation. There's so much that's going on for them. And if they don't have an opportunity to process that, those scary things will be part of their future.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you point to that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Molly Brown is Director of Therapeutic Programs at the Crisis Nursery, which serves families that have reached the breaking point.
Nobody to turn to, not a safe neighbor, a family maybe isn't an option for them, and so that level of stress combined with feeling truly on your own just creates such a level of need for our families.
For a child to have no food or to sleep in a car, it hurts. To be a survivor, sometimes you need someone to throw you a lifeline.
Our staff do such an amazing job of caring for them like they were their own, but yet at the same time supporting that mom and dad. Our goal is to keep our families together, and so if we're able to help make that home a safe place or help a family get into a home who's currently sleeping in a park or staying at one of our shelters in our community, if we're able to do that, then you know, we're doing our jobs.
Families may voluntarily bring their children ages birth to 12 to any crisis nursery sites when parental stress becomes too much. We have a list of locations on our website. You can also call their 24-hour helpline, 314-768-3201.
The Scout motto is to be prepared.
An organization that touches tens of thousands of kids now becoming trauma-informed.
Changing the question from what's wrong with you to what happened to you.
How the safe place of camp is helping address kids' stress.
Go to aliveandwellstl.com for help dealing with toxic stress and trauma. Click on Get Well and then find a mental health professional for a list of resources. When you think of summer camp, trauma and toxic stress may be the last things that come to mind.
But it's often someone like a camp counselor or a scout leader who's the first to pick up on the signs of struggle in a child. That's why the Boy Scouts of America just began training leaders to become trauma-informed.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word trauma?
It's a heavy topic in a carefree and beloved space.
Not just a physical trauma, but psychological trauma.
Each year we have over 47,000 youth go through our program.
A group of volunteers with the Greater St. Louis Council of the Boy Scouts of America recently took time out at Beaumont Camp to learn to help scouts live alive and well.
So we're going to be talking to them about the importance of changing the question from what's wrong with you to what happened to you, and how they can apply that not only in their daily interactions with scouts.
It turns out having the support of at least one adult, even if it's not a parent, can relieve the damaging effects that trauma or stress can have on children.
Sometimes the Scoutmaster is the only person that a youth might feel comfortable talking to because they know they will be compassionate and try and help them through any situation that they might be going through.
With that isolation comes that sense of hopelessness.
Along with teaching these trusted adults what questions to ask, they're also training these scout leaders to teach resiliency.
If we have a better understanding of trauma and see behaviors as the result of what happened to someone, right, then we're not talking about that bad kid that's doing that bad thing. We can help understand what's behind that behavior, and then if we want to change it, what do we really need to think about and help that kid with?
And with 2/3 of the population experiencing at least one traumatic event during childhood, it's a lesson none of us can afford to miss.
It affects all of us, so this is really an everyone issue.
Youth baseball coaches with the Cardinals Rookie Redbirds organization will also be trained to identify kids who are struggling. They'll be able to help those children connect with the right resources.
So in addition to the 4,000 or so kids that are registered in our program, they have siblings and they have neighbors that can also take advantage of the program in some respects, but also the resources.
Experts say a program like the Redbird Rookies helps kids deal with stress in their lives by allowing them to create healthy relationships with teammates, coaches, and other members of their community.
A reminder, you can help us heal summer hunger. When you're grocery shopping at Schnucks, you'll be able to donate to Operation Food Search at the checkout. Just $1 can feed 3 people for a day.
Alive and Well STL is sponsored by the Regional Health Commission and the Missouri Foundation for Health.
It's a partnership of News Channel 5, the St. Louis American, Old School 95.5, and Hot 104.1.
Thank you so much for joining us and learning more about toxic stress and trauma. And remember, there are so many resources waiting for you in the Get Well section of aliveandwellstl.com.